All right, guys, welcome to 301 Friday Masterminds. Last week was just magical. I'll put in the category as a career highlight between being on the stage of Sales Mastery. And then Deb, what you did with the help of Chris on our team, putting together that celebration of 300 Masterminds with Todd was extraordinary. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
What'd you think of that, Todd? Did you have fun last week?
Oh, you know what? That was just off the charts, right? I mean, it was, one, just to think that we've actually been doing this for that long together. And just to really be grateful for all the people who have been behind the scenes, like Robert, and, all the people who've come alongside of us, and, certainly Deborah for putting that together and co-host. And it was super cool, and I'm grateful for you too.
Right on. And Robert, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for being the wingman that helps get questions answered, helps us execute. So thank you, Robert. And anybody that watches that recording, what I would love for you to take away from that is just the power of being a content creator and how important it is to create, not just consume. Like consuming is easy. Creating is harder, and you get smarter, you get better, you create more impact with whatever your message is. And I just, that's been my takeaway, is just the power of creating news versus consuming news, the power of creating content versus just consuming it. So hopefully you get that value from that. Today, we have part 2 of a conversation that I started with Bill Hillestad. That Tuesday, I had just arrived at Sales Mastery, which, by the way, Todd Duncan, congratulations. 30 years of Sales Mastery. What an amazing contribution you've given to the industry. So thank you, Todd. And also, that event was amazing. I think myself, Deb, and Todd maybe we'll do it next Friday, guys, and just do a complete, like, what were all our takeaways, what were all our lessons. What do you think about that, Deb and Todd? Next week, next Friday?
We can do that. Ironically, Deborah and I did that on the Win by Noon, our Monday weekly mastermind, but it'd be fun to have you in there and have your takeaways in there as well.
Yeah, and you guys practice, so I'm sure it'll be even better. It'll be even better. You practice, and we'll do that. So let's get into what I think is the single number one priority for local referral-based mortgage professionals. And I was asked this. I did a podcast yesterday, and someone asked me, like, you've got thousands of loan officers listening to you. What's your message? And that is that your database should be your single biggest priority. And that's not just in this market. It's always been true, but it's become even more true. One of the most important mentors to me on my journey of optimizing databases is Bill Hillestad. So Bill, thank you for coming here, back-to-back weeks and doing part 2 on this.
Love doing this anytime I can. It's been my passion for 35 years. It always will be. I will do this for free for the rest of my life. I just love helping people with it. When it finally clicks, everything in their life changes. When they finally understand the real nature and the real power of a database.
So part 1, if you're watching this in our YouTube channel, there'll be a link to this is part 2 to part 1 down below. And Bill and I are working on a white paper that will really break this down for you. So it'll be there's no better to listen to the whole call, but we'll have a white paper that we'll be publishing together. And really, it's Bill Hillestad's How to Optimize Your Database Playbook with a little bit of Dave Savage sprinkled into it. So last week we accomplished a couple things. I think we got really clear on the 2 ways to optimize your databases. First of all, get all the loans out of them. So that when no borrower left behind, you really minimize the number of borrowers that do loans outside of your database with anyone other than you. And then you also do a really good job of creating opportunities. You're proactive within your database. You're not just waiting people to come to you. You're coming with annual reviews. You're coming with quarterly reviews. You are truly creating, life-changing value for every consumer in your database so that you get life-changing value out of it. So that, check. There's a few empty spots on that, but that's part of optimizing your database. And then optimizing it also is adopting people from other professionals' databases, realtors. We're gonna create a deck, a slide deck that you can use in subscripting. What I have come to learn is that getting the database from insurance agents is a really hot strategy, and Wally Elderberry is a great example of that. And I did an interview with Shane on his team a couple days ago and got a script. We're going to integrate that, like how to go to an insurance agent and make a case for them to give you their database. But anybody, any local referral-based professional, if you're optimizing your database, it should be so powerful that they'll provide it to you. So Bill,
So Dave, when you say insurance agent, do you mean life insurance?
I don't know yet. I mean, I
Okay.
think when you look at Wally, he's mainly referring to life insurance, but I think it's too soon to tell, and we're still
Okay.
learning on that. So I don't know the answer for sure, but really good question, Deb. And by the way, Todd and Deb, ask questions, add value all the way. Let's make sure and if we don't have the answer now, like, oh, we got to find that out.
Can I ask one more question then?
Of course.
If it was, home insurance, is there a way to adopt the database of renters? And is there trigger alerts or things that you can tell just from renters of when they could possibly be ready?
So awesome
by?
having you on this call. I so love having you on this call. Really, really good point, Deb. So let's just put that as before this call is over. Let's speak to that.
Okay.
And then remember, guys, we're a mastermind. So there are loan officers that have experiences in this. Let us know in comments. Like if, like we've got these two themes: adopting databases, optimizing loans, no bars left behind. If you're super successful at something and you have best practices, let us know in comments. We'd love to interview you and fill this out. So Bill, one thing I know for sure we didn't get done in the last call was you had talked about these 33 touch points and that the goal is to, be top of mind, deliver value, and be likable. And I don't think we spent a lot of time on what are the 33 touch points and how do you make a database like you. So before we just riffed, for as long as we want to riff on that topic, is there anything else that you felt was like a hole, like we didn't do in part one? Just so we kind of know what the holes are.
No, we hit it. You just have to keep digging deeper. People need to really try and internalize this and make it part of, it's not what you do, it's who you become. When you become about the relationships, when you become a true database marketer, you stop looking at it as lead gen, you stop looking at them as numbers, you start making real connections with people, you start honestly trying to help them. When you get that mentality shift of, there's only two functions. I'm either creating new relationships or strengthening existing ones. And you got to remember, I know I said this last time, but Deborah and I were just talking about this, that according to Stratmore, when borrowers are surveyed, 92% of them say they like their originator enough to reuse or refer them. When polled a year later, only 26% of them can remember their originator's name. The ones who liked them enough to refer them, it's 74% can't even remember their name. And by the way, only about 12% ever do refer or reuse them. Everybody on here loses easily 3 to 4 times as much business as they get from their database. We think our database, no, you're losing 2/3, 3/4 of it. You're not nearly as memorable as you think you are. And that's where the 33 touches, which it's not always 33. That was just one big empirical study done by Gary Keller and Keller Williams way back when. And basically they were doing mailings when they did the study. And they found that how many times should you mail? And so they mailed, 20, 21, 22, and measured the results. And it kept going up. The ROI against the cost, and mailings are expensive. The ROI continued to go up until 33. That was the peak of the bell curve, and then started to plateau off. Found that's about what it took. People need to see you about 3 times a month in order to remember you, in order for you to stay top of mind. That's why I send everybody over to you have to stay top of mind, and you need them to like you. That's the other thing that we really got to drive home. People think that it's all about, I got to put up better mortgage this and better more. No. You got to make them like you first. Half of your content at least is purely there to make them like you. Because the one thing every marketer, every seasoned real marketer knows is people do not make decisions based on logic at all. All decisions are made based on emotion. And then we use logic to justify the decision. It's called confabulation. We made the decision already. We're just going, oh, and that makes sense. And because of it, yeah, I got to like you. I'm going to use Todd because I like Todd, period, done, end of story. But then I'll use whatever. So you just got to be in front of people so that you're never forgotten. That's really what it boils down to, in a way that's not always. That's why if everything you put up is about mortgage and real estate, and I'm not buying or selling right now, yeah, that's why you got to have the other stuff. So yeah, you just need a whole bunch of people who know, like, and trust you. They'll use you. And then in between, they see your little stuff.
So let's do this. So one of the outputs I want to have on today's call is to work a little bit on the slide deck and this one is specifically for realtors. How can realtors turn their database into a data bank? And I know a couple slides that are probably going to be in there for sure. And my thing is working slow, so I won't put it in presentation mode. And this slide or some variation of this slide is going to be in this deck, where we really start to kind of build that loan officers could get paid every year for their database if they had mortgages under management. And we'll define mortgages under management at some point in this deck. And then we really want to bring this to the realtor. And realtors could get paid every year. It's called working with a data-driven mortgage advisor who has mortgages under management. And then there's going to be this, it's all about building your database, mortgage under management. It's all about having insights in strategies so that you can take apps and be proactive, not reactive, close loans and get ROI. So I did make this slide a little prettier. So Bill, you like this one better than yours, or you like yours better?
No, I love it. I
should have done a little before after. So I want to bring this up real quick, because if anyone on this call, you've got a couple slides that you're using to adopt databases that you think should be in this deck, get them over to us, and we'll make them pretty, at least in a way that we think is pretty, at Mortgage Coach. And this will be a resource for you guys. We're going to give you the tools in all of the slides so you can go into a real estate office and you could come out of that real estate office where they're like, where do I stand in line? I want to give you my database. You can go in to a life insurance agent, maybe any type of insurance agent. My guess is it is any type of insurance agent is my guess is the answer to your question, Deb, and they'll give you their database. So before we go to that, I think we'll spend the second third of this call really drilling down on the slides. Let's, you and Deborah, since you're both masters at this, talk about what are all the touch points to make a database like you. And Todd, feel free to help moderate this part of it, but I don't care if it takes 20 minutes. I don't want to go more than 30, 25 minutes on this, but if it takes 10, let's go 10. But Bill, why don't you go first? And then Deborah, why don't you play off it and the two of you riffed on how to make a database like you?
It's my favorite training ever is I do one called content for, with, and about others. You just have to remember that your content, that at least half your content is either for, with, or about other people. If it's for them, this is just empathy and common sense, guys. If you're putting it up, can you honestly say that if you were not in the business and scrolling through Facebook and saw this, would you appreciate the content? Would you stop? Would you find it engaging? We've always called it the rule of awe. It needs to make people say ah, and it could be ah, cute, puppies, kittens, babies, whatever, or awe inspiring. Wow, the positive quote, the whatever, or ah, laughter, or ah, shock. Oh my God, or ah, anger. If it doesn't evoke an emotion, if they don't want to see it, why are you putting it up? In real life, we talk about ourselves 31% of the time. on social media, we talk about ourselves 82% of the time. It's the most me-centric, egocentric place on the, make them, the guide and the hero. You talk about it all the time, Dave. Don't be the hero, be the guide. So that's why I like to do videos with other people. I like to do content about other people. Anytime my client appreciation posts are my favorite posts in the world, where I'm bragging about the client, not bragging about myself. I hate the automated posting of, review.com or whatever with the 5. I'm great. No. Brag about the client and thank them for the 5-star review. You get it in, but you're making them the hero. Put up content for others. And I can show lots of examples and lots of ways to get it, because you don't have to make up this. You're like, I'm not that creative. No, look, just go to Google and humor. Go to Google and search for mortgage funny, and then click on the images button, and you will see thousands of hilarious mortgage images and memes and stuff like that. Or you'll find videos, or Pinterest is loaded up with this stuff. And you're like, yeah, but that's their content. Under fair use law, when I'm creating new content, I can use any publicly available content to create it. If I'm using it for demonstration, commentary, example, critique purposes. So all I got to do is I got to take something I found. It could be an article on Zillow, and I record a quick little video about it, or I alter it up, or I saw this, and you're using content to create new content matchups. Well, I go find this humorous stuff, and you don't ever want to hit that share button. The share button is your enemy, because we all have millions of views. We just send them elsewhere. Don't share content. Post it with some of your personality mixed in. Saw this and thought blah 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 whatever, and post it. But you can curate this stuff. When you find a news article, don't share the news article. Don't hit the share button. Do like Frank and Brian built the original Think Big, Work Small before it turned into the empire that turned into everything. Well, they didn't have investigative reporters. They went out, saw news, collected information about the news, and re-reported it in a more entertaining, more concise, more consumable fashion. When I see something, I'm going to go, hey, blah, 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 this is happening, that's happening, da, 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 da. If you want to reference the full article, I put a link in the post, whatever. You can give attribution, but you don't have to make up good content. You just have to deliver that content with your own little piece mixed in. But you always have to come back and go and ask some friends, ask your spouse. Would people who aren't doing a loan or buying a house right now, would they like this content? Would they share this content? Would they? And that's why I like curating content, because I can find stuff I know is viral. But just ask yourself, is this for others or is it for me? Because try to make half of what you do for them, and then they'll like you. And that's why I like the about and with others. Because every time I'm making somebody else the hero, when I'm putting up a post that says, hey, if you guys know me, I'm all about a database and relationships, and there's nothing I love more than connecting my connections. Today, I wanted to introduce everybody to my good friend, Deborah Bird from Plug and Play Social. If you guys don't know, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing, and I just brag about her and put that up. And when I put that up, talking about her, I'm going to do some extra little tricks. I'm going to post it to my page. I'll always have budget behind it so that I know it's going to go out and get thousands and thousands of views. And then I'm going to share it onto her profile directly. And Facebook's going to see that engagement because they're trying to spend my money. Yeah, I put $20 on it. Well, they got to spend that money and they're looking for engagement. Well, her friends are going to engage with it way more than the strangers in the world. So Facebook's going to hit everybody she knows. And by the way, organically, you can't reach more than about 15% of your friends. So now all of a sudden, everybody Deborah knows is seeing this with somebody bragging about her. I'm in the video either with or talking about her. And I'm scooping up anybody who watches that video for 3 seconds or more is now in my custom audience, my fan base. So now I can continue to reach them. But it's all about, we only like that which is familiar to us. Well, people need to see you about 22 times before you become familiar. You need that repetition, but when I have somebody else in my video or somebody else in my post, or my post is about somebody else, if I know Deborah, if I'm at a sales mastery or whatever, and she says, Bill, meet my friend, whatever, by association, I automatically trust that person. I don't have to go through the 22 impressions, the mojo of I like Deborah, Deborah likes Bob, therefore Bob must be a cool guy. And now you're picking up all that stuff, and people just like people who are always giving compliments, highlighting others, sharing about others. Just be honest with yourself about what makes somebody likable. Who do you like? Whose content do you like? Every time you scroll through Facebook, you're not there to just get entertained. Your purpose needs to go, what resonates with me? What works? And make sure that half your content is stuff people will enjoy consuming. That's my angle on it.
Well, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, not everybody may like you, and that's okay too.
Yes.
But I think most importantly, you have to be authentic and genuine, because then you create a trust gap. Like if someone were to see me out in the public and maybe I appear a certain way on these calls all the time, like you guys, if you've ever seen me on or off stage, I'm usually wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes. That's just who I am on and off the court. Be okay with not everybody liking you, but also be okay that when you are showing up as you and sharing some things that may be vulnerable, because those posts too are what, again, will make people feel an emotion. And that emotion makes people feel connected to you, makes them feel like they belong to something, because now we don't feel alone. So just to put a tactic together with everything that you just said, Bill, with my clients, every Friday, I send them an email with kind of a playbook of Monday through Friday, what they could do for the offensive side of their social strategy. And every Wednesday, ironically, I tell them to host a show. And my example is always Dave and Todd, with even this Friday call, where look what compound effect can occur when you just commit to doing one show. And I tell them do it 30 minutes every Wednesday. And you look for people that you can interview by saying, hey, every week I host a show. I see that you're a pediatrician, because this could be someone that maybe you're taking a loan app, or now you're going to your kid's doctor's appointment. And so just for examples, like for next week, I told clients, interview a pediatrician and talk about just kind of safety tips with Halloween candy, but it gives them a platform to share, one, what made them be who they are and what they do, what are some commonly asked questions that they're getting. So it puts them on a pedestal and gives them a chance to talk about what they do. But what it also does, the real secret sauce, is not only can you create micro content from the nuggets of the 30-minute interview, but if you create a social post and you tell them, hey, I'm going to create a graphic, I would like for you to email it out to your entire database, letting them know where to register for our live or how to tune in. So now you're getting leverage trust from the association of, say, that pediatrician. What would be greater is if you told them, hey, we'll handle all that for you. Just let us have your database. We'll do an Eventbrite, or we'll set up an event in Facebook. So now you could adopt their entire database, which would be beneficial if you have things like Sales Boomerang or HomeBot. But then you don't have to be the one with all the intellectual property. You're making them the hero, and you're just every week looking for new people that could add value in the community that you're building. And just alternate between, maybe it's a family law attorney, maybe it's a CPA, maybe it's just home decor ideas for the fall or winter of, paint trends or whatever could be valuable to the community you serve. No different than what Dave and Todd has done with this channel and this group that, you look at 301 episodes later. I mean, someone could have a PhD in mortgage just by studying the YouTube channel and being a part of a group that is abundant mindset of sharing tips and tactics. And, now you're getting in front of different business owners that also see hundreds of people a day that you could be referred out to. So that's relationship building. It's providing value. It's leveraging and adopting other databases that already have trust. And so it's a way to really grow your brand, to me, the right way, versus so many who I see that will buy followers and buy likes because they want to appear to be a big deal. And I'd rather you just be a big deal because of the value that you have.
So guys, we're about 4 minutes until halftime. And I want to make sure we, because there's going to be two sides of this. There's going to be a value creator where you're bringing value. And I do think that's pretty straightforward. I mean, annual reviews, quarterly reviews. And when you get some type of an insight, you're proactively calling the client at a valuable time. And guys, there will be a time where rates start going down again. And part of the value equation will be, for the people that got interest rates at 6% or higher, and you're calling up at the right time, like one of our alerts and our platform is a rate watch alert. This is going to be a thing again, where it's identified that, hey, this is where the client's in the money, and it automatically creates a total cost analysis. And then you have a choice of whether it's just a default video that goes out and it's automated, or whether you want to, hey, let's fine tune the video. So this is going to be very valuable again. Making sure that you've got alerts so that when someone is in the money and they could do a cash out loan, and automatically create a total cost analysis showing them how they could update their debt and be more efficient. So a couple things, like I know these slides are going to be in the deck, and I know there's going to be a couple, hey, here's an insight, here's a call. What I would love to do in the next 5 minutes, I would, like Deb, why don't you go for 2 minutes, and Bill, you go for 2 minutes, and just, I've just defined some services of value. If you could just give some really tactical likability, whether that's a post on social media or whether that's an email to your database. Why don't you do this? Deb, you give your 3 best likability tactics, and then Bill, you give your 3 best likability tactics, and then we'll add those to the playbook. So Deb, what would be either a post or an email? Give us your top 3.
Well, for likability, you've got to share some of the personal side of you too, that makes you a human. So whether it's you with your kids, and I usually tell clients, like, I'm big on doing this in the story section on social media. So anytime, my goal is 4 to 5 stories a day, and the first story post should be an engagement post, like a sticker where you're asking a question, or you're asking them. You could do the add yours, where you add a photo, like, show me a picture of your first home, or what was the interest rate on your first home. Just getting people to interact and engage helps.
So family, what about an email? Is there any email that comes to mind that, or something other than a post that would make a database like you and connect with you?
Well, if you are sending value added emails every Friday to your real estate agents and say you want them to like you, you could send them one of how you're a database driven loan officer, and here's how we track how much in commission we give back to agents, and just really showcasing how you either think differently or you're giving them tools to help with their business. Because there's a lot of real estate agents that don't even have a database, period. Not even an Excel spreadsheet. So if you consistently looked for value to help solve their biggest business problems, they're going to like you, because that's a pain point for them right now.
Totally agree. So Bill, give us 2 or 3, and then Todd, you and I will sync up on where we're at on this topic. You feel free to add some ideas or talk about where we're going to take it. Bill, give us a couple ideas.
All right. First one, to Deborah's point, authenticity, not business. Love this post, Dave Walters.
This video is real tough for me because I've been struggling with a weakness.
And he starts off with, hey, I'm struggling with the weakness. And you're like, what the heck? And he's like, oh yeah, I was walking into Target and I saw my connection and I stopped, and before I knew it, I was reaching for my wallet. And then he pulls up this box of Thin Mints and he's talking about a Girl Scout and his addiction to Girl Scout cookies. And look, 153 comments, and it blows up. Dave's a $80-100 million realtor. He's #1 guy in Ventura County. And this is one of his most, it's just authentic. It's unexpected, a pattern interrupt. If it's expected, it's invisible. This, whoa, what? That huge. For your mail, I'll hit you with this. Going way back to when you and I first met, Dave, first rate, Tim, everything. We call them on hold cards. We we didn't buy cards. We just paid to print them in bulk.
Hey, by the way, are you showing that on your screen right now? We're still seeing the video.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'll stop
Oh,
sharing.
well, just if you're not sharing on your screen, just pull it down.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, cool.
So the on hold cards, we just went and printed our own cards that had, you know, paintings or whatever on them, but everybody was supposed to send out 5 handwritten cards a day. And you're supposed to pull them out of your desk drawer, stick them underneath the front lip of your phone. And it's usually somebody just got off the phone with, hey, it was great catching up with you, blah, 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 blah. But handwritten cards are huge. Our #1 response is forever in my whole life. We used to send out birthday cards to everybody, but we didn't know most of their birthdays. So we just sent them out at random. Best response mailer you'll ever send out in your life, because I'm going to get that. It's going to be 90%. Todd's going to call me up and go, Bill, hey, buddy, thanks for the birthday card. But listen, it's not my birthday. Yeah, I know. I had no idea when your birthday was. I figured at the very least I owed you one for last year, but birthday cards on my birthday, yeah, I'm getting a lot of them. It's not that big of a deal. It's not a pattern interrupt, but not on my birthday. Huge, but tangible. Send people tactical stuff. I want some handwriting in there. There you go for mail. And then my favorite post, which, you know, gets old doing it over and over, but I'm telling you, if you just did this one thing, the client appreciation post for every closing, even if you can't make it to the closing, there's 100 ways to do these. But in this one, she actually goes to the closing, shows up, brings them a cake with a photo of the house, goes in, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, listen, I got a little gift for you. I'm going to go out and grab that. Would you mind if I film this for my Facebook gallery? Oh, sure, no problem. I'm not going to say, no, you go get my gift and there will be no filming. So now she comes in, she's like, yeah, here you go, da, da, da. Brags about him. You say nice stuff about him. You guys are awesome. Look, I made friends for life. They'll always come back and say really nice stuff about, oh, you're the best realtor. In this video, they actually hug her. And then she holds up the cake for the camera and goes, take a look at that. Isn't that incredible? If you know Shaylee and Kyle, reach out, congratulate them on their new home. You guys are awesome. That's it. Puts it up. And look, she put a $50 budget on this one. Shared it to their profile. So her 2,000 Instagram friends, his 500 Facebook friends, everybody they know saw that post. She just got endorsed. They hugged her and said she was awesome and they loved their realtor. It was a great experience to everybody her client knows all at once. 12,000 people, 5 warm referrals. Every single time you do this, you will pick up multiple, not leads, but warm referrals, because it's hitting every single person they know and they're endorsing you. So those are 3 of my personal favorites, but really it all comes back to do what Deb said and be authentic. I always show Chris's stuff. The guy's an absolute goof. I could never do the videos he does, but you're talking about somebody that went from 47 transactions to 192 off of 98 videos in 1 year that were not about real estate. Still had his real estate ads, that was separate, but these were all bragging about other people, influencers, building my relationships and contacts. That's the stuff that kills it. The Noonans down in Laguna Niguel, follow them. They get over 1 million views a month. Sean and Helena will tell you they can't set foot outside the house without people coming up to them, because yeah, they got all their real estate stuff, but then they're talking about, you know, how Helena found gratitude and it changed her life and blah, blah, blah. And they're talking to the surfboard artist and the donut shop people, and they're pulling down insane views. And they are the digital mayors of Laguna Niguel. They own Laguna Niguel because they're putting up stuff that at least half of it is there with them being authentic, talking about stuff that people care about.
All right, guys.
Oh, have you seen or?
Hey, real
Oh,
quick,
go ahead.
I do want to wrap up this topic because I think we've got enough to create the article. And not saying we've talked about it more, but I want to make sure we get into, okay, what's the pitch to the realtors? And I want to get everybody's feedback. But Todd, anything quick you want to say or ask before we go into this next chapter?
Well, I mean, I just want to give a reminder to everyone, right? First off, you know, Bill and Deborah just gave you easy action steps. So if you choose to take them, go back to this statistic, 86%, according to Stratmore Group, would use you again as a loan officer, but less than, or about 12% do. And so we'll be thinking about these things because, you know, we know it, right? I mean, Hopefully you've got sales boomerang and get the trigger alerts as rates come down. But, we know that rates are going to come down next year. We've interviewed Dan Rawatch on here a bunch of times around that. So think about what's the action you can take now, right? One of the things that Gary Keller always said about the 33 touches, it doesn't matter if they read my postcard, but they see my face as they throw me in the trash.
Yep.
And so it's, again, what are those touches you're going to do? I recently interviewed Bliss Sawyer, and I totally had forgotten that in this group, Dave and I had done a contest of who would make the most calls to their database back in 2019. And Bliss crushed it. She won the competition. And in doing so, all those proactive calls to her database, she had a super high percentage of people who remembered her in 2020 when refinances started falling out of the sky and she didn't have time to proactively call them. They called her. And so these are all just things you should be thinking about as you are quote unquote slower, right now, as really the outbound opportunities that you have to take advantage of what you just heard for the last 30 minutes.
Love it. Love it.
Quick
So
footnote, when Todd said 86 and 12 and 92 and whatever, Stratmore loan officers, it's 92% say they would reuse or refer and 12% do.
Oh, it's even
For
worse.
realtors, that's why Dave's slide says 86 and 10. For realtors, 86% of people, according to NAR, say they would reuse or refer. 10.2% ever actually do. Their numbers aren't quite as good as the
I was going to say,
so here's,
loan officers are better than realtors at pleasing their clients.
Yep.
yeah, and so, to Mortgage Coach Innovation Team, let's actually have two slides. Let's have one where we start this conversation and it's loan officers and we're referencing the NAR stats. You don't need to repeat it, Bill, you already did. And then let's show a slide that's the Stratmore stat. So this is actually needs to be NAR. So let's actually say it, because remember what we're trying to do is we're trying to be the most valuable advisor, capture the wealth team, and we want them to be like, I want to give you my database so you can optimize it. And so I think that slide with Stratmore and then NAR will be a nice 1-2 punch to open it. And then I've already pulled a bunch of loan officers that are doing this, and they're all using these 3 slides. So I'm pretty sure these are going to make the cut. Now, and then I was thinking we want to, show them like an example of, well, you know what I think we might want to do. Tell me what you think of this. And we're really having a working session at this point where we're kind of building this out a little bit. But I almost think we want to put like a version of these towards the front. So right after that, really make the case of just how much a customer is worth for both a mortgage and a real estate perspective. What do you think, Bill, about actually putting this slide a little higher up? So we make that stat, we make that claim, and then we get right into lifetime value. What are your thoughts on that?
I love the lifetime value, and I love getting that stat up there. I like to translate it into a number somehow, if your average transaction was, and you make this much, what is the annual value? For me, the annual value of a database contact's always been in that $500 to $600 range, but somehow just make it really concrete that it's the value of each person in your database should be X as long as they're properly nurtured. Let's get them over here and start nurturing them for you.
So I want to make sure our innovation team heard this when we create this playbook. We not only want to show like these are the transactions, but Bill is saying that every single record is worth $500 to $600. So let's make that a goal that we make a big statement. We show the transactional life of a client, and then let's make a slide where, I'll make a little new slide right here, and it's every MUM value, and Bill says it's like 500 to 600. Let's do some math on that.
Yep.
And then we show this, and then we show this. And then one of the things I want to do is, this is actually an example from a big lender, but I'm just going to say, if you had 10,000 mortgages under management, which I think should be every loan officer's goal, like 10,000 records under mortgages under management, what would be the amount of insights you'd get? Because we just know at Boomerang, part of our sales process with big lenders is give us your database and we'll show you a lost loan report. We'll show you everybody that you lost last month and everybody you lost within the past year. So we can, kind of show what the potential is. So that realtor is like, hey, this is how many cash out alerts are going to be in your database. And we kind of make it, and then we show a couple examples. So what are your thoughts on this so far, guys? Anything that you're like, hey, Dave, I like what you got, but, or hey, Dave, what about this? Anything come to mind from the crew?
My first thought is, for those who keep asking when can they get Sales Boomerang if they don't have an enterprise account, then your first homework item is how do you get 10,000 records? And you can easily do that if you start leveraging and adopting other people's
So
database.
by the way, there's two ways for everybody that's asking me. I want to make sure real clear, like someday we would love to make Sales Boomerang available for individual loans, but that's not what we're currently working on. We're working on just how do we get more signals and how do we automate TCAs, and 10,000 records under management is the minimum. To your point, Deborah, guys, if you're a branch, most branches have 10,000 records. I believe that loan officers by themselves, if they really start working on building up mortgage under management, you could get there within a year. Like a new loan officer could get there within a year. And then the other way is introduce us to your manager. Like let us talk to your CEO. My email is dave@mortgagecoach.com. If you want your company to have a mortgage coach Sales Boomerang enterprise relationship, I'm the chief innovation officer. That's my full-time job, is helping grow the lenders and the loan officers under this. So Dave @Mortgage Coach, make an intro. So any other thoughts, Bill, Todd, Deborah, on slides that should be added?
Oh, God. You need to bring it back up so I can look again, but
I'll bring it back up.
yeah, I really want to, for me, it always, when you're presenting it to people, it comes down to making it simple and understandable. If you can get it down to just, because they're only going to take away three things, no matter
Right
how
now,
much
we're
stuff
like-
you tell them.
I'm basically at about 27 slides right now,
Okay.
and it goes from.
There's going to be a few big, what's the lead? What are the takeaways? What are those sound bites? And the idea of coming up with some sort of an annual value, and then being able to highlight what, even if you only got this is what it's worth. And one of the things you said, Dave, that I think merits more attention is knowing your lost transactions. It used to be something that took us a long time to do in workshops, where we'd go back through and dig through your Facebook and look for anybody that's talking about houses. And as when you start to live by the numbers, you automatically change your behavior, because you have a feedback loop. Without a feedback loop, you don't realize that you're losing 3/4 of your business. But when you start to see, oh, damn, I lost another deal. Oh, damn, I lost another deal. You start really focusing on nurturing your database, on staying top of mind, on making more calls. The best conversion rate that I've ever seen from anybody organically is about 34%, meaning 34% of the people in their database did their next transaction with that originator. But when you proactively have a real database nurturing program that's keeping you top of mind no matter what, that number can be pushed up into the high 60s, low 70s. I hate to say it, but we need the little slap. Every time you lose a deal, people need to get that slap. It's going to change their behavior and make a huge difference to simply know when you're losing business. And I know that's not real positive, but.
So here's what I got. And I have an important question for Todd, so I want to get to it. We've got this opening on concept. We've got a couple stats. We've got the realtor version and the loan officer version. So I'll, put in loan officer version here. LO stats. And then we'll have realtor stats. We'll show transactional value. We'll speak to what's the value of every mortgage under management. we'll talk about what is the realtor's annual value. We'll kind of go through these, how we're going to do it. We'll close with annual lost value for realtor database. And guys, I'm thinking we'll come up with some slides. So, for a realtor that's got a past customer database, Todd, what's a small database for a realtor, and what's a big what's small, medium, large realtor database size in your opinion?
I think small is, sub 100, because you do have a lot of realtors who don't understand that the people on their phone and their Facebook friends are their database, and they're just looking at clients that they served in the past. I think that, average is probably somewhere up to 500. And then you've got these big teams. I did a mastermind with a team that's closed $1 billion consistently the last couple of years here, and they have 300,000 in their database.
I'm gonna. There's always the exception, but let's just say
I think a big database,
30,000,
right,
is big. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I don't know that too many. Again, I mean, if someone has 30,000,
let's just say 10.
Yeah, 10,000.
I would go 10.
And I like 10 because that gives a new loan officer could go hunting for a 10,000 realtor database. Like, hey, I work for this company. We do this, that, and the other thing, and I just need 10,000 records. What do you think, Todd?
I like that. Because I think you got, again, you got your small, medium, large there, and you're setting the goal. Like, I love the fact that, Deborah called out, hey, loan officers, instead of, worrying about when Sales Boomerang is going to roll out something individual, for me, think bigger, right? How quick can I get 10,000 people in my database so that I can be a customer directly with Sales Boomerang?
Yeah, and I do want people to know, guys, what we're doing here, it's not easy. Data is not easy. Having clean data is not easy. Having the signals is not easy. Being able to take action, all these things in the database, it is not easy. And that's one of the reasons why we've, really paused on trying to create some small version of the product. It ain't easy. It takes a financial commitment. It takes execution capabilities to execute on this. And we're kind of convinced that if a lender doesn't have 10,000 records to manage, it's even harder. They don't have the resources to really pull this off yet. Hopefully we will get to a point where we can have smaller deals. So Todd, super important question. A lot of people may not know this, but for many, many years, when I wanted to interview a loan officer that was like the example in America for how to consistently do annual reviews and how to optimize a database, Todd was the standard. Todd still is the standard. He just, spends more time on stage as a coach and the founder of Win by Noon. But Todd, if you could, you're definitely going to be in this playbook. But knowing how things have modernized, if you could just briefly give leadership to loan officers watching this on how to do annual reviews consistently, how to do quarterly reviews. I would love just a Todd Bookspan riff on that. And then Bill and Deborah, feel free to, pepper him with that. But let's do like 5 to 8 minutes, then we'll save like 3 minutes for closing thoughts.
It's funny that you bring it up, because I was on YouTube the other day and I put in my name, and one of the top 10 videos that still comes up under my name is the interview that you did of me 2016, number 23 loan officer in the country, finished that year as I pulled out of full-time origination to, get into coaching and, founded Win by Noon, and the rest is history. And so, I mean, the first thing is you have to make a decision that this is an important part of your business, because until you decide that this is important, that you do annual reviews, that you become the person who is going to actually follow through on that promise that you make your clients. I mean, the one thing you forget is that, your job is to make clients, help clients like you, right? We talked about that a little bit earlier, right? Be yourself. But, if you can start off with a script of, hey, what makes me different than other loan officers you may be talking to, is that I take a proactive stance to managing your mortgage going forward, where most loan officers cash their commission check and sail off into the sunset. That's when my job begins. That's where I'll be starting to proactively manage your loan going forward. Have you ever heard interest rates dropped and wondered if you could save money? And you pause and they all say, of course. And then you say, well, my clients don't worry about that because they know I'm watching it for them. And so one is it's going to help your conversion, but really to answer Dave's question is you just have to decide. So when I teach the ideal week, which to me is really what made me different at the time, right? That commitment, to winning by noon. I worked from 8:30 to 11:30 every day doing those activities. But for me, every Friday was annual mortgage review day. And I had a commitment that on Fridays I was going to do reviews. And, technology's changed a lot since then. I interviewed Jared Hamilton out of Denver, Colorado, and, he's totally automated his annual review system, right? He sends out a slide dial to his clients. He tells them, hey, I'm going to call you twice and email you when it comes time for your review. And so he's got it automated. It sends a slide dial to him saying, hey, I told you I was going to call you, and guess what? I am. It's time for that annual mortgage review. Give me a quick call and we'll get you scheduled. Sends a follow-up email and then sends another follow-up slide dial. Now, guess what? If the clients don't call Jared, because his is set up so that he doesn't have to be the proactive one, they have to be. But they still heard his voice, not once, but twice, and they saw his email. So go back to what Bill said about, the 33 touch. If I was doing loans today, knowing that y'all have extra time, more time than you've normally had, I would switch from just doing annual reviews on Fridays to having a daily discipline around that, right? Whether that's 1, 2, or 3 clients that you can call. And the script is a little different now, right? I mean, your clients have 2.5% and rates have a 7 in front of them. So, a lot of it's congratulations on picking the right time to refinance, which of course, then you can kind of pat yourself on the back if you did it proactively with them. And then really let them know, hey, I've got a lot of clients who are concerned about the real estate market. And then you can go back to, the interviews that we've done with Dan Rawich and talk about that. And then you can just follow up. And there's other questions. If you go back through annual mortgage review, you can see we had another one that stands out to me that Dave probably remembers is when we interviewed Rick Shearer on his annual mortgage review process. And again, it's still all relevant, but I guess I would kind of bullet point it at this, right? Number one is you have to believe in and you have to commit to it, right? You have to believe it's important. Number two is then you build it into your scripting going forward, and guess what? It's going to help your conversion rates. And then number three, decide on the process. Am I going to just pick up the phone and start calling people, which is what I would recommend. Don't think about building a new system, but just know that the systems like what I mentioned are there. And then lastly, engage with people, right? Make that conversation, make that call, and, realize it doesn't have to be all around the mortgage right now. You're going to ask questions like, hey, do you mind if I ask you about your debt outside of your mortgage, right? That will still create debt consolidation opportunities. A little harder to stretch from 2.5% to 7%, but it will, right? You can set people up for debt consolidation for spring when rates drop, that kind of thing. And so that would be kind of my 5 steps that I would consider in order to make it happen.
All right, guys. So check this out. I just want to remind people, you go to our YouTube channel and you could go to this little search within our YouTube channel, type in Todd Bookspan. And by the way, I could have typed in annual reviews, and, here's most recent where he interviewed John Downs, amazing interview. As you scroll down, you can see these things. Look at this one 5 years ago when Todd and I were in the early days of building out this channel.
My profile picture is me wearing a tie.
Yeah, look at this. How to double past client business, Todd Bookspan, 5 years ago. And then I think this is the video he was referring to. Annual reviews with Todd Bookspan 6 years ago, 22,000 views. So we're going to be incorporating some of those concepts from Todd in here and from others. I remember, Todd, you and I, almost every year we kick off the year with your database is your number one priority.
Oh, yeah.
Do annual reviews. Of course, now that I am, I have Boomerang, I got something even better than annual reviews. I have got the ability to actually know what's going on inside of your database and give you alerts. And we have the ability to automate a strategy. You guys, just so everybody's clear on what a strategy is. A strategy is a total cost analysis. So we are going to be able to go from data to insight to a smart total cost analysis so you don't lose loans. So make your database your number one priority. So guys, we got 5 minutes left. Deborah, you haven't spoke for a bit. Any kind of final thoughts you have or things you want to make sure we get within this optimize your database call?
I put in the comments, there is a free app called, it's COVVE export. That is something that you can offer to your real estate agents if they say maybe they're not organized with their database. This app that you download on your phone will easily export all the contacts into a spreadsheet very easily. Like it takes 2 seconds. So that's one app that they could download to
So
immediately get a
innovation team,
database.
make sure we get that from Deborah. Let's make sure that, she gets sourced as our, how we found out about that strategy. Cool.
And then also I just put a little cheat sheet of how to come up with the 33 touches. So if you did 12 monthly, say, call it newsletters, 12 monthly market update reports, one CMA or TCA a year for your annual review, one freebie item that you send, one birthday card, one home anniversary card, and 2 client events. I believe that all totals up to 33 touches, just
Woo!
from a high level view.
Nice, Deborah.
That's not even including trigger alerts, but I mean, that's just how you
Yeah,
could show if you
yeah.
had that in the slide.
And
you
remember,
know.
you guys are gonna have all kinds of, hey, you got equity. Hey, you've got tappable equity. Hey, you got a kid going to college. Maybe we should see if you guys should house hack and help buy units. Oh, kid graduating from college. Maybe it's time to make a first house if they didn't do it in high school or didn't do it through college. Let's help them get a duplex, triplex, whatever. Bill, as we wrap up, any closing thoughts you have on this topic?
Yeah, that one slide that you put up where you list all of the alerts, I would love to take that and see what every alert is.
This
and
one
then
right
come
here?
up with the one in the middle. Yeah, right there. And because I don't know what all the alerts are, but I want to know if this is the alert, what are the things I'm looking for when I see that alert? A la, cash out. Oh, look, they do have children this age, but give me a very specific, and I would kind of storyfy it for the presentation, because every alert is some sort of life event trigger and could mean something. I might have to go peek at them and see if it applies, but give me the concrete specifics, because I'm obsessed with the data. We talked about the covariant and correlated and all that stuff last week. The data is everything about Target knowing a woman's due date more accurately than her OBGYN. I love that data, but now let's take that data and drill down and go, what are all the things that this could possibly mean, and how do I check, and how can you systematize that almost into a checklist so that, and then what are the messages? Oh, well, they do have children that age, they do have this, then yes, or they are renting, but they, nope, it's time to send them this message, and start getting down to translating that data into possible life scenarios and opportunity. Because I'm in the opportunity business. Which opportunity should I be presenting and when?
You gave me a couple ideas, Bill. I'm gonna make sure that we put a list of all our alerts and strategies. So right after we kind of show those conceptual slides, we show a list of all of those. And then I'm also going to put in a few scripts so that, the realtor really knows, like, hey, I've got this superpower. I've got these capabilities. And then also just a reminder for all you loan officers that have HomeBot, like HomeBot is a killer touch point and a killer strategy. And I do think you need a CRM, you need mortgage coach, you need sales boomerang, you need HomeBot. You pretty much got a modern tech stack. There's a case to be said. You need a video platform like a BombBomb, and then you've got the tech stack you need, and now you just need to nail these touch points. Bill, you were going to say one more thing?
Yeah, I'm going to say HomeBot for me is the easiest way to grow your database. Separate topic, we can't get into it in detail, but know this, that when I put up some of the HomeBot features and I give people on Facebook, I put up a lead gen ad, as you guys know, but Facebook, I can say, I want your name, phone number, email. You don't even have to type it in. It just go address, all that's auto-populated. So people don't even have to type. It'll cost me anywhere from, 50 cents to $5 to get somebody to sign up, but I can dangle that out there and use it and to grow my database at will. To me, that's the shiny object, and then Boomerang is the triggers and all the drip, and mortgage coach is clearly, how I'm presenting all this stuff. In between, I just got to make sure I'm staying top of mind and putting out the regular content.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we got to wrap this up. It's been an incredible call. I will get some HomeBot slides in there. I will get a list of all our alerts, and Bill and I will get to work on this special report. And Todd, Deb, thank you for collaborating and adding so much value to this. And hopefully everybody got value. If you did, give this a like, whether you watch this on Facebook or YouTube. We appreciate the engagement. And if you also have ideas to add to the table, get them in comments. We'll add them to the playbook. So have a great weekend, everybody. This is a wrap. See y'all.
We'll see you guys.